best Pan-African bank for SMEs. For tailored solutions and deep sector expertise, search Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking today.
The Startup Spotlight is powered by The Business Show, Africa's biggest and most successful business event. Grow, learn, connect, be inspired, and get ahead. Register for free at thebusinessshow.co.za. Now, every Monday on the program, we spotlight a South African entrepreneur or entrepreneurial company who's changing the game. And tonight, that is Jonathan Berkowitz, who's co-founder of MotionAds. It's a delivery bike advertising platform. And the numbers are impressive. It's unlocked more than 20 million rand in supplementary income for independent drivers in just 6 years. From 3 bikes in 2019 to 2,000 today, MotionAds is reshaping both transit media and the gig economy. And I hope some useful lessons for entrepreneurs tonight. So, John, a very warm welcome. Let's go back to 2019. What sparked the idea to turn bikes into billboards?
Thanks, Jeremy, and it's great to be on with you. I think walking down memory lane, we actually didn't start with motorbikes. My business partner, Ilan, and I started with the idea of turning cars into moving billboards. And for a few different reasons, we decided to actually pivot over to motorbikes. But at the very start, from the very start, the idea wasn't just advertising space, let's slap on some ads and let's make millions of rands. It was genuinely about helping the delivery driver, to empower him and to support them in their micro enterprise journey. So whether it's a car or now motorbikes, it's essentially why we started the business. And 6 years later, it's where we still are.
And when you told people initially about what the idea was, did people understand the gap that you'd seen, or was there a degree of skepticism?
I think it's the innovator's dilemma, right? You start something new and people just don't actually understand what you're saying. There's no pattern that they can match to. So it was tremendously difficult for us at the start, huge amounts of skepticism, and I don't blame people. I mean, we were a bootstrap business and still are. Our product left a lot to be desired for back in the early days, and we were figuring it out. There was no blueprint for us to actually follow anywhere else in the world. This is a world first and proudly South African. So I think it was difficult for us to get going and slow going, to be very honest. Most of it wasn't sales, though. Most of it was education. What is this? How are we helping drivers? How can this benefit for advertisers? But slowly and surely, we started to prove our case. We started to run really excellent advertising campaigns, and the proof's in the pudding for a lot of these things. So we started to get a lot of market trust.
And Jonathan, in the early hours of the morning, when you were lying awake with your eyes wide open, where did you find the inner energy and the belief in your project?
I didn't know anyone was watching me back in those early days of anxiety, but I think it cannot be unique to me. It's an entrepreneurial, the anxiety and the stress. But at some point, it has to work. There's no other choice. And for us, it was a cause that was bigger than ourselves. It wasn't just Ilan and I trying to build our bank accounts. It was, how do we help these delivery drivers? How do we build their bank accounts at scale? So I think when you have a wider purpose and you're trying to make a bigger impact, these problems almost pale into comparison, because you really are building something bigger than yourself. And at the end of the day, it thankfully worked out for us and all the drivers.
20 million rand in supplementary earnings is a big milestone. What does that actually mean for the drivers?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it at the macro level, 20 million rand's just a really big number. But if you zoom in on an individual basis and you understand Amani in Cape Town and Kudzai in Joburg and Steve in Durban, and you start to really understand some of the stories. One beautiful story, Primrose, is a female driver of ours in Johannesburg who we advertise on the back of her Uber Eats motorbike, and she earns a supplementary income. And she told us a story in August. We did a Women's Month highlight of some of our female drivers, of how she uses the supplementary income to just reduce some of the friction that she experiences in her life as a mother of 3 children and as a breadwinner, and how this income goes towards her school fees, shoes come January, February, start of school, and, tuck shop money, and all of these small things where it's supplementary income, but it helps to elevate from that friction level. And we're really proud to do this, not just for Primrose, but for 1,999 drivers elsewhere across the country.
It was, of course, and still is, I guess, a risky business that some people might see bike ads as clutter. How do you prove to brands that the model drives measurable impact?
Well, I think everyone listening to this show can recall the last time they saw on-demand delivery bike zooming past them on the streets. And they might be listening to the show right now on the radio in their car, witnessing one of our bikes driving around. For us, luckily, this is really in-your-face media. So you can't avoid it if you're out in the streets, if you're anywhere. But that's not enough. If you're a brand manager, you can't be everywhere on the street looking at all of these branded bikes. And that's where we really, as a tech business, come in, where we have tracking on all of our delivery drivers as a platform where we show measurable ROI to brands, how many kilometers their bikes have driven, which suburbs have those drivers been driving around, how many flyers have been delivered with those food deliveries into the heart of the home. All of this is tracked, measured, and proven to customers, to our advertisers, in a way that is very unique in the out-of-home industry and really sets us apart.
I haven't spoken to a single entrepreneur who hasn't referenced at some point in their journey a healthy stroke of luck and partnership. And my understanding is that Pick n Pay and also Uber Eats gave you credibility early on. How crucial were those partnerships in scaling? And I mean, the obvious answer is they were crucial. But how did you convince them to come on board and to be part of your enterprise?
Well, I think absolutely crucial is the short answer. For us, the two big partnerships was Pick n Pay, who at the time in 2020 were launching Pick n Pay ASAP. And they came on board as a very large customer of ours and really helped as a bootstrap business to bankroll and to grow nationwide. And then secondly, we had Uber Eats, who came on as our advertising partner. So MotionAds is the advertising partner to Uber Eats across Southern Africa. Operationally, they gave us a huge shot in the arm. We could reach the cream of the crop drivers and enroll them onto these advertising campaigns because of our partnership with Uber Eats. And secondly, the credibility, which opened the doors to some of these massive blue chip brands like Vodacom and PepsiCo and Nedbank and the likes, who really see the partnership with Uber Eats as a lot of credibility and helped us to actually convert those into advertising campaigns.
And Jonathan, just a final one. I'm led to believe that you're targeting 100 million in rider earnings by 2028. That is a big, bold, ambitious target. What's the growth strategy that gets you there?
Well, I think more of the same, right? Just more bikes on the road. But really, we're trying to keep the drivers still at the core. And so 100 million rand, we're actually on track to it, believe it or not. Really grateful and we feel very lucky that our business continues to grow. But at the core of it is the driver. How do we continue to empower and support the delivery driver? For us, we meet drivers every month, face to face. And this is a personal relationship we have with drivers. It's about how do we do it with 2,000 drivers today and how do we scale that to 10,000 drivers? And the payout amount just grows as a result.
Do you ever ride a bike yourself?
Ironically, no, but I've put enough advertising on bikes that maybe that gives me a free pass.
Jonathan Berkowitz, thank you very much indeed. He's the co-founder of MotionAds, and I do appreciate your time tonight. A fascinating story.
Thank you, Jeremy.